Hello everybody, my name is Tanner Kyler, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about this restoration project I've been working on for a few years, and I'm really excited to bring all of it together to show you guys what's been going on. I've been working on this project for a few years now and never really knew exactly how to put this video together, but here it is. We've been working to restore this area of around 4 acres to bring back the native flora and fauna to the region. The name being typed at the bottom right corner of the screen is just the name of the flora or fauna that is being presented. What you are seeing here is an accumulation of photos and videos that have been taken over the past few years to really highlight the biodiversity of flora and fauna throughout this restoration area. Even though it's only 4 acres and is in an area that is deemed lower in biodiversity or seems to be lower in biodiversity, this really shows how much life can be occupied within 4 acres of fertile, rich land.
Remember that? You said one.
What you see on the screen here is the aerial imagery of the restoration site that has been included in this video. 15 to 20 years ago, this area was completely covered in rich bottomland forest. The bottomland forest that would have been along this riparian area of this creek would have existed for thousands of years before humans arrived. Around 20 years ago, somebody came in with a bulldozer and completely straightened out the meandering rivers and creeks, which exponentially increased erosion. This caused many environmental impacts, such as dirty and clouded water, which destroyed amphibian populations. It also removed a lot of the large canopy forest, which would have shaded this area and kept it cool during the summer months and warmer in the winter. After it was dozed, it was then converted into a hay meadow, which was cut annually, even in the marsh areas, which are full of extremely fragile ecosystems and species that need the areas to survive, reproduce, and prosper. About 4 to 5 years ago, I decided to turn part of this area back into its original habitat and help out the native species that belong to this area. So, over the past few years, me and my girlfriend have really tried to boost the biodiversity, as you can see on the screen today. These are the species that need this land and have started to prosper now that the land has healed. It will be a long, challenging road to get this place back to where it was, but through battling invasive species and burning, as you'll see later on in this video, this area will be able to prosper once more as it was in its former glory. I am happy to say that not all was lost. Nature is making a major comeback, and some of the areas were not destroyed completely. I am here standing in front of an American sycamore which is possibly over 400 years old. It is hard to estimate its age without actually cutting it down and counting the rings, but through my estimates I believe it is over 400 years old, making it older than the United States is as a country. You can also see the under canopy of this tree is full of lush vegetation and wildflowers. This is because this area right around this tree was not damaged, and a lot of the seed bank was remained intact, which has allowed a lot of biodiversity just underneath this one tree. Something here that is very fascinating about this project is that fire created it. So many people think that wildfires are bad, and they can be in some instances, but in many areas, especially in North America, fire is very important. So what you're seeing in this video is a prescribed burn that is meant to eliminate invasive species and help native species prosper by expressing old seed banks of the native flora that used to live here. The native flora will attract native fauna, such as insects, which will boost populations of bats, birds, amphibians, and reptiles throughout this entire area. Fires are also beneficial for many other reasons. They help clear up the understory and keep vegetation such as trees and other shrubs from getting too out of control and outcompeting the native herbaceous perennials that come back year after year, like the grass and the wildflowers that are perennial. By burning every 2 to 3 years, it does not eliminate all of the trees, but it does thin some of the trees, keeping their population from getting too high and outcompeting the native shrubs like the native grasses and wildflowers. It also keeps too much shade from hitting the ground and too much leaf litter from building up. That will also keep these areas from prospering in the way they should. So every 2 to 3 years, a fire will come through here and help express old seed banks and allow for native perennial shrubs to grow. It will also thin out some of the trees, but not all of them, keeping the larger, more mature trees from getting out of control.
Here we have Cerisa, here, which is an invasive species that I'm wanting to get rid of. This bushy, thin stuff. So we gotta try to get this stuff burned. Yeah, all that gray stuff in there, you can see, like, all that gray stuff is invasives that we're trying to kill. Yeah, if we can get these non-native cedars to get started burning, they will not go out. And it'll kill it and it won't come back. But you gotta get them started burning, and you gotta let these fires come through to hopefully get him out of here. I don't know, it's so hot, and there's no way he's not gonna die. God, it's so hot, I gotta step back.
I would also like to add that here in this restoration area, a new thing has been spotted since the burn, and since this area has been able to start healing and new trees have been able to start growing. We have been able to see a lot more beaver activity, which is excellent for this area as we want more marshes to form. So if the beavers start to come in here and build their dams, which will help back up some water and create some natural wetlands, this will help exponentially increase the amount of biodiversity and will help the health of the ecosystem as a whole.
But anyway, so I was just walking around down here, and the Johnson grass is a huge problem, all this big grass. But this is what happens after a burn, though. It helps clean up the understory. Grass proliferates, wildflowers proliferate. There's wildflowers everywhere. I mean, you can just see them. Virginia creeper crawling, poison ivy, even though it's not great for humans to touch, it's good for the birds, so we're gonna leave it. We have some invasives, but like the Cerisa, but I've been trying to keep this stuff pulled because there's not too much of it yet. But we're kind of crap out of luck when it comes to this stuff. The brome only survived in areas that didn't burn, so that's why that stuff's still growing. It's not that big of a deal, it's easy to remove. Now this Johnson grass, however, and the Cerisa, they're big burdens. Yeah, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but there's a wildflower. So generally what I do is I come through and I pull the Johnson grass away so the wildflowers have more sun and they can get up above like this one did. Yeah, but this is what it did. It killed a few of my trees, or I think it killed the under branches, which will make them tall upper story trees, canopy trees, because this place lacks a canopy. We have some milkweed coming up here. This is gonna have, monarch butterflies are gonna lay their babies on that here in a few weeks. In about a week actually. And then right here, I thought this pine tree that I planted a few years died, the loblolly pine, but it is sending out some new buds. This is gonna look real pretty. After it loses this, it's gonna get this cool savanna look. Because basically what I'm trying to create here is a savanna, but we're just battling invasives. But like Virginia creeper, it's stretching its range back up here, and that's new for me. That hasn't been happening, so that's great. So the natives are starting to fill back in, and the Johnson grass numbers are starting to diminish a little bit, even though it seems like a never-ending battle against this stuff. Yeah. So, but the more I pull, every little area I pull is a spot that something like that would have been drowned out, wouldn't have survived, or like this would have not been able to get up above the Johnson grass. And I also have this thing that I use.
After a few more weeks, the marshes had started to heal and fill full of native vegetation, even though a fire had just recently been ripped through here. The wildflowers started to proliferate, which helped boost the population of the pollinators you see in this video, which helped tremendously when it comes to helping the ecosystem prosper as a whole. This is something everybody can do at their own home. You can do a little bit of research to find out native wildflowers or grasses or even trees and shrubs to your region. And you can help plant these around your house, in your garden beds, anywhere that you have available space. And if they're allowed to creep back into nature and become a whole as a part of an ecosystem, that helps even more. You can also help by doing what I'm doing in this video here and removing invasive species by looking up local websites that can help show what invasive species are native to your area and learning to identify them and helping pull them and rid of them. You can help make the ecosystems and the environment around the area you live much healthier. Areas like this are becoming few and far between, and they are huge carbon sinks helping to remove carbon from our atmosphere and help fight climate change. If you do not have an area like this to help boost biodiversity and plant native plants, that is completely fine. You can help here on this channel just by hitting the subscribe button, commenting or liking on this video, or even just watching these videos to help become more informed and let other people know what is needed to be done to help our local ecosystems. If this channel ends up getting more and more views and more subscribers, I'll be able to do more work helping the ecosystem. So just by watching these videos, you guys are doing an amazing job for this account. Alright, so I was editing this video earlier and I really just wanted to put a name to the face. I know you saw me earlier in the video, but my name is Tanner Kyler, and this is my passion. I love making these videos about nature. I like these restoration projects I'm doing, and I've been working on it a while before I decided to make a video about it, but then I had enough collected over time, so I kind of decided to piece this video together to kind of bring it to you guys to see what I'm doing here and showing what you guys can do at home to help make the exact same difference. Like I said, if you can't, that's great, or it's fine. You can just support this channel, and that was kind of my point here. The more subscribers and the more likes, the more views I get, the more engagement I get, and the better my channel does overall, and the more I can help nature. And that is what this is all about. Yes, I do like bringing the education here and showing people what they can do and what nature is and what it is composed of and its complexity and its beauty. I do enjoy all of that. But the main thing that I want out of this is to be able to help nature as much as possible. And so that is why I'm here asking you guys to help support this channel, to try to be able to get more engagement, which can get more views, which can eventually maybe start making some money, which I can put back into these projects, and to keep adding to these projects and make them larger and larger each year. This will not be the last video I make. This is just kind of a part one. I'm going to keep making these videos over time, and I'm going to keep making updates on these videos so you guys can kind of follow along and see this. So if you want to be a part of that journey, please make sure you hit subscribe. I really do thank you for watching, though. It means a lot, especially if you've made it to this point in the video. But yes, I hope you have a great day, and thank you for watching.